welcome everyone. I would like to call to order the, are we good to go? Regular board meeting of the Vallecitos Water District this June 4th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Before I begin, I would like to announce that members of the public may watch the meeting via live computer or smart device by going to the district's website and clicking Watch Live icon. I'd like to welcome visitors here. Thank you for being here, and all the staff. Glad you're here. And we've asked Chris Robbins to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hand on your heart, eyes on the flag, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. He does that so well. Chris might be our designated Pledge of Allegiance guy if he's here. Thank you. Roll call, please. Directors, please indicate your attendance. We are all here, except Director Boyd Hodgson. She's actually up in Sacramento with work-related issues, so we'll miss her, but appreciate what she's doing up there as well. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
May I have a motion to adopt the agenda of the regular board meeting for the Vallecitos Water District?
Move to approve.
We have a first. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. And please vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Do we have any public speakers?
None at this meeting, sir.
No public speakers. We do have public speakers for item 1.1, North County Water Agency's 4th grade calendar contest winners for Vallecitos. We have a couple presentations tonight.
I believe we do, yes. And before I hand it over to Chris, this is one of my favorite meetings as we get to celebrate the talent that we have in our district boundaries amongst our ratepayers, and the artistic talent that I think this year was probably some of the best I've ever seen. So, Chris, why don't you take it away?
Thanks, General Manager. So this is one of the fun board meetings for all of us. We get to recognize our poster contest winners. I was showing some of the students we have here today that this has been going on since, I think, 1993. So quite a few years the North County Water Agencies have been doing this poster contest. The contest went out to all the schools in the San Marcos Unified School District, 12 total. There are, I think, 10 elementary schools and then 2 of the K through 8. This is a 4th grade contest, and our timing is terrific.
Is this MARYANNE?
Yes, this is MARYANNE. So MARYANNE's here right on time. The poster contest winners, we got over 30 submittals, and staff reviewed and looked at them and chose our winners based on their artwork, good choice of text, and whatever sort of message that they had. So our first, and I didn't get a chance to talk to her and get a chance to explain what was going to happen, is MARYANNE. MARYANNE, how do you say your, come up to the microphone up at the, come on right up here. I want to make sure I pronounce your last name correctly, so you can tell us.
It's ALVIZURES.
ALVIZURES. I would have probably got it right. MARYANNE is our 3rd place winner. And she is awarded a certificate signed by our board president. It's got your artwork in it as part of the certificate. You get some gifts, including a water bottle and an irrigation tester. And then here's the really good one, $50 on Amazon for you to go shopping for whatever. That's yours. And board members, any questions for MARYANNE?
I have one. I don't know if I want to put you on the spot, but we're all just having fun here. I would love for you to just kind of explain what you just drew. Do you want to explain any of that? Those flowers and trees and stuff?
Like I drew like the fountain, like of like representing like without water, like all the earth wouldn't exist.
Oh, okay, so that's the fountain, it's creating life for all the earth.
Yeah.
Great. And you got birds and ducks and fish and flowers and turtles. That's a cool little turtle. Thank you, I love it. No, I don't know if anybody else has anything else, but thank you. Love it.
Director
Good job.
Hernandez?
Wonderful artwork, just wonderful. What I'd like to do is encourage you to continue drawing, not just for contests, but everything you see. Just, get a sketchbook and continue sketching and drawing. I have one myself that I've had for 20 years, so it's a nice recreation, and you already got a great start here, so continue.
Thank you.
I have something. Congratulations, Marianne. It's beautiful artwork. All of the entries and all of the winners are beautiful. And one way that we can kind of impact people is through art. And just remember that by producing this art, you might be really impacting somebody and inspiring them to save water and respect the earth. So great job. Continue doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Yep. Comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to say congratulations. I wish I could draw that well.
Exactly.
Love the artwork.
Great job. Congratulations, and you look very lovely as well. Thank you.
Mary.
Good job.
Okay, second place winner, right? Liv Williams. With a hug from Melissa. Your certificate with your artwork on it, your goodies with your moisture tester. I think there's a shower timer on there. So mom and dad can keep track of how long you're in the shower, not spending too much time in there. And then also for you, an Amazon gift certificate. You can shop for whatever you want. Questions for Liv?
Congratulations. Congratulations. So what's your sister's name, Liv?
Loving
Rain.
sister.
Rain? Wow, how
Rain?
appropriate. Yeah. So you were in the water family already, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Rain, R-A-I-N?
R-A-I-N-E.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You're happy, you're proud of your sister? Kind of proud of her? Well, I just have the same question. Do you want to explain a little bit? I see mountains and sun and love water saver. Do you want to explain a little bit what you drew?
So I did this to say like how we should appreciate water and how water is important in our lives. And if we didn't have it, there wouldn't be trees and all the stuff that helps us live.
Wow, wonderful. You're a great artist, and it seems like you're very intelligent too, so thank you very much. Congratulations. Yeah, any other comments? Go ahead.
It's beautiful artwork, Liv. Congratulations. Yeah, I think, like I said to Marianne, you're inspiring people when people look at the calendar. So thank you so much. And I noticed this woman or girl at the bottom. And is that a particular person to you, or?
It's just a person that from a long time ago that would use water in their lives to how they used it.
So like one of our ancestors, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Wonderful artwork, as I mentioned before. Continue to do this, but I wanted to ask you, what did you use? Is this watercolors or felt pen?
It's Sharpie.
Sharpie, uh-huh. Well, I have to commend you because as I'm looking at this, there's no bleed over. When I do work, I bleed over, so I don't see a distinction. But you've got, between the mountains and the sun, there's a distinct line there that's just beautiful. You've done a grand job, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say congratulations, beautiful artwork.
Thank you. Good job, Liv.
Thank you.
And of course, our first place winner, Jimena Castillo Medina from Julian Lichtag Elementary School. Jimena. Okay, so you've got to hear what kind of questions they're going to ask, right? So So there's your certificate with your artwork in it. Again, here's a water bottle, and I think there's dye tablets in there for you to test your toilets and make sure they're not leaking. And then also, because I'm always doing this, there's a thing in there about careers in water, because I'm always looking for people to come and take my job. Lastly, Amazon gift card for you. Do your online shopping and get whatever you like. Board members?
Well, like you said, there's a lot in this drawing. You want to explain that a little bit? Congratulations, it's beautiful.
Yeah. On the red little baskets are where they are collecting the water. And I just make it like people recycling and getting the water that's spilled on the ground because of the rain.
And you drew those girls in those dresses?
Yeah.
And those boys, and you draw so well. Good job. And what's above where it says every drop counts? What are those two things up there?
They're wings.
They're wings, like angels' wings? Why? I like that. That's cool. What'd you put those up there for?
So everybody should know that collecting water is special.
It's special. Yeah. Like you, like angelic. And it's raining, and there's clouds, and it's very cool. Good job. I really like that. And I just noticed the recycle sign over there on the left. Cool. Thank you. Good job.
Congratulations. This is so beautiful. I really love it. And these are all children. What inspires you to draw children and there's no adults in the picture?
It's like little kids learning how to collect water and to learn how to save the water.
I love it. You're very talented. Congratulations.
Good job.
Excellent work, excellent work. And again, I encourage you to continue. And what I am really want to commend you on is your detail. You know, the little ruffles at the bottom of the girls' dresses and the fingers on the people. I can't draw fingers, so I just make them, I just do mitts. So this is excellent, very nice. Keep it up.
Yeah, congratulations, the detail is fantastic. Great artwork.
Thank you. Congratulations, all three of you.
So board members, if you'll indulge me, I would like to get a photograph of yourselves in the bullpen here, along with the students. And contest winners, if you can bring your certificates and hold them in front of you. And parents, is it okay if I get a photograph and use it for social media to share with our users? Yeah, is that okay? Awesome. And parents can also take pictures as well. So get out your certificate, just the certificate. And it's better if you scoot back because there's less light on you.
Okay.
So we got 4 board members and 3 students, so we will put the students in the windows, right?
Is that what those are called, windows?
Yeah, you're gonna be right there. Gonna scoot over a little and we'll get Jimena right here. Perfect. And everybody scooch a little back just to get you out of those lights. Sorry, Dad, I'm gonna cut you off, but I'll give you a chance. Okay, yeah, and open it up so we can see the actual certificate with your artwork in it. I can get a little closer. This is
Show your
good.
face so you can see your face.
And we're happy because we won and we have gift certificates. And we're happy because we're board members and we have kids in here. Awesome. Parents, your turn. You get a chance. Yeah, yeah. One more. So that concludes our ceremony. Parents, I have to stay because I have another presentation. Deborah can help you. We will have calendars that get printed up in December, and I will make sure your children get calendars that they can give out to family and friends for the holidays. You're also welcome to stay, but I just wouldn't recommend.
Wait a minute, what are you saying? What are you saying? We have an exciting board meeting. So one thing we did learn, though, is pictures are worth 1,000 words, so we're just gonna have pictures the rest of our board meetings, because they say a whole lot more than just words, huh? Congratulations.
Thank you all.
I think we also learned that girls are better artists than guys, because we got 3.
You know, it's just the way of the world.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. 1.2, Water Environment Association, CWEA Award for Community Engagement and Outreach.
Yeah, so, turn this on. Continuing with the theme of accomplishments today, our Public Information and Water Conservation Department won an award at the state level for the California Water Environmental Association, CWEA, for community engagement and outreach. It's Project of the Year in the medium category for our native plant seed library. So that's native plant seed library continues to rack up the awards. I'm so proud of it. I wish Lisa was here today, but Lisa is actually on vacation, well-deserved vacation. And here really is Chris and his team to really kind of talk about the award.
And so this is nice because I'm going to bring you 2 awards today and kind of the genius of both of my staff. This is the CWEA statewide award for our seed garden that's in the front yard. Lisa's actually having it updated. It gets a little beat by the weather, and so it's getting repainted. But this was Lisa's just kind of fun idea. She just kind of hooked up with what used to be the Audubon Society, but now is the San Diego Bird Alliance, and then the native plants groups. And we were able to put this seed library together. It has had so much more impact and success than I ever imagined. I think I told you we got seeds back in the mail, which is sort of what's supposed to happen with a seed library. We've had people come here from out of the county. We've had friends show up for a birthday event that what the lady wanted to do was come visit our seed library. And so that's what they did for their birthday event, was come visit Vallecitos' garden and get some seeds at the seed library. You can see the silver plaque in the back for the San Diego award, and this gold one is the statewide award.
Wow.
Great job, Chris.
Yes. And we have another presentation, MWD, One Water Award for Environmental Impact from the Landscape Optimization Program, which includes the 5 educational videos BWD created.
Yeah, and so keeping with that same theme of accomplishments, the Public Information and Water Conservation Department and its partners won the One Water Award for Environmental Impact from the Metropolitan Water District, NWD, for Landscape Optimization Program, which includes the 5 educational videos that was created for each project. And Chris is here to talk a little bit more about that.
So, and I just mentioned Lisa and her efforts with the seed library, and this effort is part of something that was being put forth by the San Diego County, the County of San Diego, as well as the San Diego County Water Authority. And what they were trying to do was try and get landscape replacements in unincorporated areas, because it was the county, so not specifically within city limits. And they would stack their incentives on top of each other. Metropolitan, County of San Diego, and then San Diego County Water Authority. And they really needed to find homeowners associations to participate. And I remember realizing, oh, we've got Lake San Marcos. We can get this. And so I really pushed to talk to the community out there and say, hey, here's this landscape transformation that you can do. Why don't you participate? And then Alicia had the fantastic idea of saying, hey, why don't I document this? I'll go out, I'll take it from before, during, after these landscape transformations. And she made like 5 videos of landscape transformations. I showed one of them quite some time ago, probably back in 2022. It was the panorama. It was the first one we did. I need to give credit to Captain Marvel, who retired from the Water Authority. She really helped put the program together. But Mall 3, Panorama, Sunrise Point, Fairway Knolls, and then Fairway Homeowners Association out at Lake San Marcos. And then the additional beauty of it was we stuck an article in between the pipes about this, and a HOA president in, moreover in Escondido, but again, an unincorporated area, read the article and got his HOA to participate as well. So we're really getting ahead of the game on the non-functional turf, which you're gonna hear more and more about from the state and even ourselves at some point. But this was a really neat award. We just had children come in who had created artwork. This is I like things that are handmade, so this is a handmade award by the staff at Metropolitan. This was cut from a tree that had to be taken down because it was failing. It was a diseased tree, so they repurposed it. They repurposed some of the metal in it, and the actual staff person at Metropolitan made the award. So I'm gonna bring this one up.
That's what I was gonna ask. Wait, I wanna see that one.
Yeah,
I should pass that down.
Yeah, look at that.
I think we have a little video
And
too.
then I do have a video to show.
Yeah, that's nice.
Where are you gonna put it, Chris?
Back amongst all the other awards. Am I a wise guy or what? But this one was a really special one for us to win, as we're the first water district to get something like this. So I'm gonna see if I can run the.
Cool.
Yeah, would you
go
please?
ahead and share-
I think Jonathan's
share
gonna do it.
please.
Thank you, Jonathan.
This way, share-
Yeah, you
share
might
my
recognize
screen.
this guy.
It's nice to have presentations.
Alicia,
Vallecitos Water District serves a population of over 100,000, and the service area is approximately 45 square miles. There's multiple homeowners associations in the area and Lake San Marcos Community Association that oversees the entire group. HOA common areas are really complicated. There's a lot of different individuals that have their own specific needs and desires for the landscape. Some homeowners association members are really interested in having grass. They like the way it looks. They like to be able to walk their dogs. To get the whole entire homeowners association to get on one page and make change that they can all agree on is really difficult. The incentives really provided the nexus that was needed for these homeowners associations to participate in these programs. They were able to get stacked incentives from the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, the San Diego County Water Authority, and the County of San Diego.
The Landscape Optimization Service and the Waterscape Rebate Program are programs offered through the County of San Diego Watershed Protection Program. These are intended to save water, beautify landscapes, decrease stormwater runoff, increase property values, to help address regulatory requirements from the state and the federal government.
Approximately 80% of the turf was removed, and by replacing that grass with low water use plants and native species, there will be a guaranteed reduction in water consumption. One of the major benefits was the stormwater capture features that were included in the programs, and it actually helps to improve the water quality at Lake San Marcos. The real success of the program came from the effort over the years that public information staff had built with the HOA presidents out at Lake San Marcos. We had contacted them constantly, providing information on rebates, programs available for homeowners associations, so they all wanted to take advantage of the available rebates. I'd really like to thank the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, the San Diego County Water Authority, and the County of San Diego for helping Vallecitos bring these programs to our customers.
These programs not only help us to meet regulatory requirements, they help us to engage with our community and ultimately create long-lasting, sustainable change in our environment.
So I don't know if it's apparent, but there's so much B-roll. This video was put together by Metropolitan, but so much of the B-roll of the work of the staff actually replacing the landscapes, that's all of Alicia's videotape. And as part of our submittal, you know, we submitted the 5 videos that Alicia had created to explain how we had gotten so much participation in this specific program.
Great, congratulations. And you look and sound great on TV.
Yeah.
No, thank you, appreciate that. Those are the 3 presentations? Anything
Yes,
else?
sir, yeah. I just wanted to say that Chris and his team did an excellent job on these. It's been a great honor to see the product that's been produced by our staff here and how it's winning awards statewide, so.
Yes, nice to be recognized, thank you.
Congratulations.
Well done. Okay, moving on with the agenda, consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented? Or do we have any questions on it?
Move for approval.
Motion by Director Elitharp. I'll second that. Please vote. Motion passes 4-0. Action items. Agenda item 3.1, authorization to access criminal records for employee recruitment through LiveScan.
Yes, our human resources risk manager, Denise Aviles, will be presenting on this item. And it's all part of our efforts within our strategic plan to streamline our process in our hiring of new employees. Denise?
Thank you, General Manager. Good evening, Directors. Staff is recommending the adoption of LifeScan fingerprinting for employment candidates to ensure thorough and consistent background checks to support responsible hiring decisions. The district currently does not utilize fingerprint-based background checks. Criminal history checks are handled through a third-party screening. The proposed change would require candidates to undergo LifeScan fingerprinting. Fingerprints will be reviewed by both DOJ and FBI. This will provide a timely and comprehensive summary of criminal history. LifeScan is a common practice among government agencies and special districts. It also aligns with best practices in public sector hiring and risk management. This supports the district's commitment to safe, responsible, and transparent hiring practices. The process details. So candidates will visit a certified LifeScan location for fingerprinting. Then the district will receive the background report directly from DOJ and FBI. This helps identify any red flags that may not appear in the standard background checks. The fiscal impact. Cost per candidate is around $79, roughly a $10 increase. The fiscal impact is minimal since it would replace the third-party vendor that we currently use. This change will also assist in shortening the time when recruiting. This item supports strategic plan focus area number 3, workforce excellence, specifically section 3.2, employee recruitment and retention. So staff's recommendation is that the board approves the resolution 1691 to implement LifeScan fingerprinting for all employment candidates, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for the presentation. Yes.
Thank you.
So right now, we go through a third-party vendor.
We do.
Is it the same process where they're fingerprinted? So what's the process?
So they use their social security number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And can you kind of explain, it sounds like we've been doing that for a long time, what's the reason for changing now and going to fingerprinting?
So since I've come on board, I'm used to working in government agencies where I am the custodian of records, and therefore I would be getting the DOJ and FBI responses, and we would get them in more of a timely manner. Right now, we're having to wait for the third-party vendor to get the information and then for them to put it into the portal for us to go in and then go get it. It's not a direct access. So this will give us a direct access to getting those, which will speed the process up.
So is it like the fingerprints expedited? So right now they're just using the social security number. Is that what takes a long time, is getting that through the system, or why? I mean, why is it so much faster?
Well, because we're going directly to the source and we don't have to wait for the third party to then send us the records and then for us to determine if there's a issue or not. This is just direct.
Yeah, we're cutting out the middleman in this one and just getting it right to human resources. We're also getting more accurate information
Yes.
on human resources, because if somebody were to use a different social security number, it may slip through the system, but the fingerprints is their fingerprints.
They have to show up and, you know, so it's much more accurate.
Thank you. Any other questions? I just had one, confidentiality. What is it? That information is just sent to you directly?
Correct. Bridget, well, it's going to be Bridget and I, because I want to have a backup. And we have to go get special fingerprinting done in order to be custodian of records. So if this is approved tonight, then Bridget and I will go get fingerprinted. And then once we're approved, then we'll be able to set up all the accounts and we'll start with all new hires.
So that's just called custodian of records?
Custodian of
And
records.
you're the only ones that have access to that?
The only ones, yes. So, and
Gotcha.
if something does happen and comes across, we would be handling it the same way where we work with our general counsel and we look at what, you know, whatever comes across.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Great.
So I just have one more question. So are there specific things that would prohibit employment?
Yes, so we would definitely be looking at, let me give you a for example, if we're looking at hiring somebody in our finance side, you know, and they have maybe a criminal record of fraud or forgery, you know, anything that's embezzlement or anything like that, we'll be able to see that. We'll be able to talk to general counsel and we'll be able to make some good decisions on that. There's many things that we have to look at before we deny somebody
Okay.
employment. We have, you know, we will be talking to general counsel, but there's a certain criteria and we'll be given numbers, like they give codes to what the infractions are. And so we're able then to go look up what those are and have those discussions.
And it would be the case that the person would actually have to be like convicted of something where it couldn't.
Well, that's what shows up on the criminal
And
record
so
is
if they're just-
convictions,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes, and sometimes too, like if they get a DUI or something like that, I'll get a hit on that through the fingerprint system before I get it on our DMV pull system. So it's just a quicker way of obtaining information.
Sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but would a DUI prohibit, for example, somebody in operations that's just driving, would that prohibit like an offer of an employment?
It would, because I would also get it on his DMV record, and again, we would have to look at when was it? Was it a district vehicle? So I know all the vehicles. I would go look up to see what time of day. Was it a district vehicle? All the circumstances around it. And if it just depends. So there's many things that can us to have to deal with or not hire somebody.
Okay.
But those would all be discussions.
And this is just gonna make your life easier, streamline?
It will make it streamline, and I'm used to having direct access, so having to deal with a third-party vendor is inefficient.
I see, okay.
And for the board, just to clarify, this doesn't change or trump the existing state law and
No.
policies in which we current our hiring practices. This doesn't modify our current hiring practice or trump the existing state laws on how you look at criminal history during hiring practice. So none of that has changed.
Thank you for that clarification, appreciate that.
Thank you. So it is criminal record as well as motor vehicle record?
Well, it's whatever you get a conviction on. So it would be your, if you get a felony or a.
So it's not a motor vehicle record for
No.
points? It's only if it was a
Correct.
criminal?
Yes.
DUI or DWI or something? Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, on the employment application, is there a question that says,
No, ban
Have
the
you-
box was a few, like 2018 or 16 or 18. Yeah, we can't put that on, ban the box, that's no longer on any applications.
that
You
used to
can't
be,
look at
that used to be a problem,
It-
people lying on their application.
Yes, and in fact, when I worked at the school district, if somebody was lying on their application and we got the background check and it said something different, we would call them in before and we would have discussions with them on that, yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 1691 authorizing access to the state and federal level summary of criminal history information for employment, licensing, and certification purposes?
Move to approve.
Motion by Director Hernandez,
Second.
seconded by Director Ellerthorpe. Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denise.
These recommendations are always long. Is there a way we could shorten those when I read them?
We will work on that.
Action item 3.2, emergency repair of 8-inch water main on Honeysuckle Drive.
Yes, without getting into the details, so as you know, that sometimes when we have emergency main break or service leg, our staff is unable to accommodate due to either timing or the difficulty, the capacity. We hire outside contractors. During that time, the general manager has a provision in which he could authorize the work to basically to bring our customers back into water service. This main break is now completed, and here's the final report back to the board on the costs and the information on that main break.
Thank you.
Good evening, President PENNOCK and members of the board. This item for consideration this evening is the emergency repair of an 8-inch water main on Honeysuckle Drive. Ricardo Cervantes, our inspection supervisor, is here with me to co-present this item. It was his team who managed the contractor who performed the emergency repair, and he'll walk you through some of the details of a uniquely damaged gate valve. The exhibit you see in front of you is on page 39 of your board packet. This shows the location of the emergency repair, which is located in a residential neighborhood on Honeysuckle Drive at Gardenia Court. The valve circled in red is where the repair occurred. On January 21st, 2025, staff responded to a reported water leak at the valve circled here in red on the exhibit, with water coming out of a valve can, indicating a possible failure of the valve. District operations staff were busy at the time repairing on another repair at the Meadowlark Water Reclamation Facility, and they were not available to respond immediately. So staff contacted Southland Paving, who was on the district's short list of emergency contractors. Southland was available to assess the situation and meet staff on site the same day, so they were retained to perform the repairs. As General Manager Gumpel already mentioned, per the district's purchasing policy of Resolution 1576, the board requires approval for construction services above $50,000. However, in an emergency situation, the general manager has authority to move forward with work if it is required for health, safety, welfare of customers, or district property. So that is the purpose of this request this evening, as Southland Paving's invoice exceeded $50,000. So since pictures are worth 1,000 words, now I'll hand the presentation over to Ricardo to provide you additional information and walk you through some of the repair photos.
He drew these? Did you make the calendar?
He just fell short. He was full.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening, board members. As Elizabeth mentioned, we met with Southland Paving that day that the leak was reported, and the purpose was to determine and assess how bad the leak was. And when we arrived, we saw that one of the gate valves was leaking out of the valve can, and realized that given the time of day, didn't warrant an immediate shutdown, because we didn't want to put our customers out at that time, and we also didn't want this to go beyond normal working hours and put us in a situation to incur overtime costs. So this also gave Southland Paving an opportunity to reach out to the city of San Marcos and coordinate any right-of-way permits and inspections for the work that was going to be done in the street. Additionally, like I mentioned, this was going to keep our customers in service for the time being until we could organize all the necessary crews and equipment needed for the repair. So in the first photo, that's the location of where the valves are with the where we noticed the leak was coming from in the top photo. Then as we began to remove the asphalt, we quickly realized how oversaturated the subgrade conditions were, which the bottom photo will show you with the box shoring that needed to be installed and how wet the conditions were. They weren't able to do a conventional excavation, and they had to bring in a hydrovac to complete the excavation down to the gate valve depth. Turn to the next photo. So the gate valves were at 6 to 7 feet deep, which this particular location is a dip section that crosses underneath the storm drain. So these valves were a lot deeper than they normally would be. So the excavation obviously had to go much deeper in order to work on the lines once we got to the required depth. And as we got down, is the picture on the right shows the unique situation that I've never seen in my time, and everybody that I've spoken to that's been in this industry for a long time, including the suppliers, have never seen a leak coming from that location. That is the actual body of the gate valve, which is one piece. Typically, when we have a gate valve leak, it comes from the joint, which the body and the bonnet, which is the top portion of the valve that you're looking at, is due to a defective or just a worn out gasket. And so what we assumed in this situation is that the gate valve was defective at that point. So now comes the fun part, where this is on a Friday. We have to determine, well, we couldn't leave it in this condition, so we knew we had to do a shutdown, but what was the extent of it? Given the fact that it was assumed a defective gate valve, we decided to go ahead and proceed to replace the entire cluster and not have a potential failure in the future, given the depth of this excavation. The bottom photo will show you once the excavation was completed, the entire assembly that needed to be removed, which is all the way up to the joints of where it connects to the pipe, and then we had to cut one section out. The next photo. So that evening on a Friday, or that afternoon, we needed to shut down the line. We notified the customers that we could in the field, and then there was also notification to the customers that were affected. There was approximately 56 customers that were affected during that time. And fortunately enough, the contractor was able to organize all the necessary specialty piping and parts in order to get the repair done. So we were comfortable enough to move forward with the repair. And the top photo shows the repair nearing completion. It did run in a little bit into the evening. However, the residents were championing us because they wanted their water back on for the weekend, and we were able to turn it back on and get it restored for them that evening and before the weekend. So once the repair was done, their water was on, we safed off the excavation, and the customer was able to, or the contractor was able to return the following week to complete the backfill compaction of the excavation later in that week. And the bottom photo shows you what the final restoration was. It was approximately 1,400 square feet of hot mix asphalt, which was the extent of the repair. Fortunately, there were no other surface improvements affected. Curb gutter sidewalk was all intact, and the best part, there was no private property that was damaged during this repair. So with that, I'm going to hand the presentation back over to Elizabeth, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Good job.
The total cost of the repair for this emergency repair for staff time, equipment, and overhead, including Southland Paving's costs, was approximately $126,000. Southland's paving invoice was for $107,000, $459.88. And with that, staff recommends approving the payment for Southland Paving in that amount. And we are available if anyone has questions.
Well, thank you for that presentation, and yes, appreciate everything you did. Any questions? I do. I have some questions just because I'm interested. So when they cover that back up, is it just, do they put a box over those valves, or is it just dirt and compacted dirt?
So So as part of our specifications, the first top foot is sand that shades our pipe. And then from there, the city of San Marcos, in this case, their jurisdiction, they would backfill with compacted soil, or they would bring in Class 2 base structural
So you're just filling it with sand and gravel and dirt, there's not like a box that goes over those valves?
No. What's not in that photo yet, because it hadn't been placed yet, is there concrete thrust anchors that go in there to support at that elevation. But then beyond that, it's all backfilled with the required material for proper compaction.
Gotcha. And then, sorry, I just have some other questions. Warranty, I mean, a valve like that, I don't know the age of it. Is there warranties on something when it breaks like that?
So the valve was installed in the early 90s. Not sure what the manufacturer warranty was back then on those, but I think it had already exceeded the manufacturer's warranty. And what we do now, these valves that come out, they actually come out with a tag on it saying that it's holiday-free, so that it's properly coated with on the inside.
Yeah, so I saw those tags on the new red ones in there.
Yeah, and that's what my staff inspects when these new valves are going in the ground.
So how thick is that wall that broke of the valve?
Well, on that one, I'm not sure, but
Normal one?
normally it's, I'm not.
I mean, an inch?
Half inch to 3/4 of an inch thick.
It's
Yeah.
cast, I mean, it's thick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then gate valve, I mean, you ended up with 3, do we just have those in inventory? Are those readily available
So they're readily available at the supplier.
at the supplier?
Yeah.
They have gate valves sitting around and get them off the shelf and put them in?
Yeah, and we do have some in stock as well here in our warehouse.
Gotcha. Sorry, last question. Southland, did they do are they repairing the pipes? Are they just doing the preparation for repairing the pipes and then compacting the dirt and putting asphalt in?
They did it all, yeah.
They do it all?
They do it all.
They're repairing it, so it's Southland Paving that also does the plumbing?
Correct.
Oh, all right.
And President Pennock, to answer your first question, at least somewhat, latent patent warranties last typically about 10 years. Beyond that, there's really no warranty on like a manufacturer.
I mean, it makes sense, yeah. Interesting. It was just a weird, like you said, a weird break. Thank you for that. Yes, question?
So the city of San Marcos did all the backfill. Does that come out of their general fund, or are they wanting us to reimburse them for that?
No, so the city of San Marcos didn't do it. We do it under their purview. So we have to follow their requirements working in their jurisdiction. So they dictate what we have to backfill with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought they came in and they were helping us out or something, but no.
No, they just made sure we did the work correctly.
Okay.
Or the
Right.
contractor did the work correctly.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and it looks like they did. May I have a motion to approve payment to Southland Paving, Inc. in the amount of $107,459.88?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, please vote. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you,
Good job,
Ricardo.
Ricardo.
Great job.
And Elizabeth? Moving on, 3.3, resolution of the Board of Directors of the Vallecitos Water District electing to have sewer services fees for Improvement District A for fiscal year July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026, collected on the tax roll.
Yeah, we're just gonna get longer and longer on you. I'm sorry about
I
that.
know.
So,
These are
next
long.
one shortens up.
All
But-
right.
But, as the board's aware, every year we have existing customers in what we call our sewer District A that we collect sewer on the tax roll. This is not to be confused with what the board saw earlier about moving all single-family residents in the future onto the tax roll potentially. So this is something that we do annually. It's been done, it's been done since before I was here. So with that, I'll have Wes explain more of it and he can provide you more detail, so.
Good evening, President Pennock, members of the board.
Good evening.
As GM Compel mentioned, this is an annual item, and it's not to be confused with the new sewer revenue on the tax roll item that we're considering in the public hearing come up on July 16th. This is something we've been doing for a very long time. These are customers that are in a special district, a special improvement district area. They are our sewer customers, but not our water customers. They're water customers to other districts such as Rincon and VID. So because we only provide sewer service, it was just easier for us to have it collected on the county tax roll because we really have no sort of repercussions for collecting. We can't shut off their sewer. So it's always been put on the tax roll, and state code requires us to bring it to the board every year in 2 different steps. The first step is this one, and that's to elect to continue that method of collection, which is on the tax roll, and to set the public hearing for July 16th. At the July 16th, we'll then have the public hearing, which the amounts will be brought to you at that point for approval. So this is, with that, staff recommends approving the resolution which elects to continue the method of collection and to set the public hearing for July 16th.
Move to approve.
Thank you. And we do this annually. Just approval recommended by Director Hernandez.
Second.
Motion seconded by Director Kirschbaum. Please vote. Motion passes for the adopting the resolution 1692, electing method of collection and setting the public hearing for July 16, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're staying right there, I understand. 3.3, or 3.4, Vallecitos Water District recommended fiscal year budget that you've been working on for a year.
Well, this item requires no introduction, so I'm just going to hand it over to our finance team here to hopefully bring this home.
Move to approve?
We got a first, we got a motion. Next item, general manager report.
Sorry, there's a point of order here that we need to
All right, good evening again, President Pennock, members of the board. This is the last presentation for the budget process of fiscal year 2026. I know it's a sad night for all of us, but rest assured, we'll get to do it all again next year.
Yes.
So with that, we'll go on to the other thing I wanted to say is this presentation is going to be very similar to what you saw in the last meeting, just a lot shorter. So I'll go through it as fast as I can because you've seen just about everything on here several times by now. So I will practice brevity this time. So we start with a budget party page. You can see there's Jody on there, the real skydiver, and the 2 posers joining her up at the top. And then the agenda for tonight. First, we're going to go over the budget process and calendar. Then we'll talk about operating expenses and revenue for both water and sewer. We'll go over salaries and benefits, and then the capital budget. After that, we'll talk about the reserve balances briefly, and then staff's recommendation. And then looking at the budget process and calendar, this is the culmination of 5 or 6 months worth of work and 5 committee and board meetings, finalizing today and approving the recommended budget and getting to the finish line. There's a little guy. He was supposed to float and he just popped up. So next we're going to look at the budget for fiscal year 2026. This is page 2 of the recommended budget, and it shows the total budget being considered for approval tonight of $126 million. And it's made up of those categories. On the top right, you can see there's a delay going on here with my, there we go. The top right are the 3 reserve funded categories, and that's going to be the capital improvement budget, the debt service, and the vehicles and equipment budget. Those will be talked about in the reserve section of the presentation, but we're going to start with the water operations, and I want to talk about specifically the district's water operations, excluding the water purchases for now, and that's $15.9 million, or 13% of the total total budget. This next slide is coming up. I think it is. There it goes. It is from page 10 of the recommended budget. And this shows the water operating expense budget, including water purchases, and the total being considered tonight is $61.2 million. And that is made up of operations and maintenance expenses of $10.1 million. We have general and administrative expenses of $3.8 million, engineering expenses of $2 million, and by far the largest amount, which is water purchases of $45.3 million, or 74% of the total budget. And we've said this several times before, but when 74% of our costs go up, it's very difficult for us to not increase our costs, and we'll see the impact of that in a minute. So next, we're going to take a look at those significant events from the Water Authority. So the most recent numbers we have from the Water Authority are that they're going to be increasing rates by 13.6% for the calendar year. They've done some shifting between fixed and commodity charges, and the impact on the district for that is about 14.2% because we go by fiscal year.
Is that one of the highest?
So as you know, the district has a 5-year Prop 218 in place right now that limits us to passing through only 6.5%. So we're considering passing a new Prop 218, which will allow us to do some catch up on the previous rate increases that we haven't been able to pass through and existing. So the first one that's going to be happening is about 11 to 12% rate increase on August or September. And then the second one will be, and that's to catch up on previous rate increases, and then an additional 7 or 8% increase in January or February. And those will be brought to the board at that time. So moving on to water purchases as a percentage of the budget. We can see here that the water purchases are 74% of the budget, and that amount is only increasing. It's projected to be 76.4% by 2030. With the water authority's rates, it's going to continue to increase and become a bigger portion of our budget. So what does that mean if it's 74% of the budget? What's the impact on the district's budget? So I want to take a look at those numbers, and I'm waiting for it to come up again. So here we go. Purchase water is 74%. Our electricity is about 1.7% of the budget, and our operational costs are 24.3%. So if the water authority passes through or increases our rates by 14.2%, that results in a 10.5% budget impact to us, or a need for increasing our rates by 10.5%. Electricity, even going up 21.2%, really only impacts us about 0.4%. And then our operational costs, even though they're 24% of the budget, we've held them low at 5.5%, and even that's only a 1.3% impact to the actual rate increase that we need.
Wes, just to add here, and these are some of the percentages that we're seeing. We're seeing real purchase water costs at 14.2% projected based on the latest water authority. And there's a difference between what we're saying and what water authority is saying. It's because they're doing it based on calendar year, and ours is fiscal year. So the numbers don't line up if you look at that. But this is what it calculates out to. And Mike could correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then the electricity, you can see the percentage of electricity that's gone up, and that's what we've gotten from SDG&E. And then you can see our operations expense have gone up about 5.5%, and we've controlled that. It's a little higher than previous years, but it's still in the range of what we're looking at. That includes, cost of, chemicals and everything else. Is labor in that cost? Labor's in that cost also, which includes cost of livings and everything else. So that's an encompassing cost of 5.5%. It's actually a number that staff is pretty proud of overall.
So the total need of the district would be 12.2% for a rate increase for this fiscal year. And actually you can see that the vast majority of that comes from the purchase water increase of 14.2%, which results in a 10.5% rate increase need.
I've got a question. Wes, is the 14.2, is that the water authority's average impact, or is that specific to us?
That's specific to us. Okay. So the rate increases they're putting through are 13.6%, and our fiscal year impact is going to be the 14.2%. Okay,
thanks.
I have a quick question about our water purchases. So are they increasing the pricing on the water that we get from desal as well, or does that stay the same? Oh, that's going up. So that's like 14.2 across the board, whether it's.
It's not necessarily across the board. We have to do sort of and Mike can give more information on this, but it's a blended rate for us.
The desal cost is based on the contract, and there's different items within desal also. Cost recovery for management fees and all this other kind of stuff. And some of them are indexed by the CPI, some are indexed by other different indexes. So I explained last time the desal cost is actually going up less than the purchase water cost. But I'll get to the next slide.
Oh, okay.
If that answers your question, we can answer it.
So this is sort of a blended impact on our total water cost of all of our sources. So next we're going to look at the purchase water cost by source. And you can see the largest cost by far is the desal water at $3,960 per acre foot. And we are under contract to purchase 3,500 acre feet of desal water. And we are budgeting to purchase 14,700 acre feet this year, and it's gonna come. There it goes. And the total cost of our purchase water is budgeted to be $45.3 million. So now looking at that's the water cost. Now looking at the water revenues, our water sales are budgeted to be $39.5 million. Our ready to serve is budgeted.
Sorry, can we just go back to that slide one more time? So these per acre foot costs are the increases are already in there. So what, I guess what I'm curious is what was the per acre foot, in 24, 25? And that's probably hard to pull up right off the cuff, but,
Right, I can tell you that the OMWD and SDCWA has gone up about the 13.6%, the desal about, I'm sorry, about, 13.6, and the desal about 9 or 10%. So the all-in cost was, I think, did it bring down to 12.6, I think, for the, something like that. For the all-in cost is about 12.6.
okay.
So
okay.
13.6 for the water authority portion of it, but because desal, like I said, is increasing at a lesser rate than SDCWA, the all-in, I believe, is about 12.6, give or take a point per.
And you said desal was up by about 9%.
9 to 10.
Okay.
I can get to that exact number afterwards, but.
Yeah, last couple of years, we've seen a smaller increase on desal than the regular imported water, but desal cost is starting at a much higher dollar amount. So even though it's a smaller percent, the dollar amounts may still be the same or more.
Okay, thank you.
Does our contract have a cap on what they can charge?
No, there's some caps on how much they could escalate things, but there's no cap on what it can end up at the end of the day.
Like a per annual cap, there's,
Yeah, so there are on energy and a few other items, there is,
oh,
but not everything. And one of the big increase in the desal costs that came across is they had a new intake structure that was required through regulation. That was I'm gonna get the numbers, not exactly, like $340 million addition that had to get.
Yeah, it started out at 80 million and
Yeah.
ended up at 350 million.
Thank you.
So-
oscillating great thing that they needed?
Yeah, exactly, and that had to get debt service, which that debt service was added to the desal cost.
Went from 80 mil to 340?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
I'll keep my comments to myself on that one. I was gonna say something about engineers, but I won't do that. All right.
What Wes doesn't realize, he's got 2 engineers on the board
Yeah,
and an
That's right,
architect.
that's right.
I was just about to say, Wes, you.
And a boss that's also an engineer, so.
I'm gonna start putting PE on the end of my name too.
I like to tease the engineers, I do it all the time. Talk to Jason, he takes it up. Okay,
All with smiles, though, that's good.
so, well, he teases back too, we get it both ways. So, talking about water sales for the year, water sales are budgeted to be $39.5 million. Ready to serve is budgeted at $18 million, and pumping cost recovery at $840,000. So now looking at, those are based on some of our demand projections, and if we do a sensitivity analysis on demand projections, if we are over by 10% or so, it's going to have an impact of about $1.1 million negative to reserves. And if demand is actually higher than we anticipated by 10%, which we are hoping for this year, we'd actually have a transfer to reserves of about $1.3 million. And I say hoping just because it'd be nice to have that extra revenue. But moving on from there, we're going back to the.
So, I'm sorry, desal actually came in at around 11%, so sorry.
Thank you.
So back to the total budget, and next we're going to look at the sewer operations, and the sewer operations are budgeted at $18.9 million, or 15% of the total budget. And every time I stop talking, it's because I'm just waiting for the slide to change.
This is good training for you to be an auctioneer. You're motoring right now.
I'm trying to go faster. The slides are behind me now. I'm ahead of the computer. Sewer operating expenses are $18.9 million, as I mentioned, and you can see the vast majority of that is our treatment cost to ENCINA Wastewater Authority and the Metal Art Treatment Plant at 48%, or $9.2 million. And then since we've now covered all the operating expenses, I did want to give a little history of the operating expenses and our controllable costs. So if we take out treatment costs and water purchases and we look at our internal controllable costs, over the last 5 years, you can see our increases have been between 1.5% and 6.6%, and our average over the last 5 years is 5.1%. So we've really done a good job of keeping our controllable costs in line and keeping them as low as possible. And if you expand that to 10 years, our 10-year average is 4.15%. And there's a bullet there, there it goes. So again, I feel like we've done a really good job, and we should be proud of the fact that we've kept our costs as low as possible over the last 10 years. Moving on to sewer revenue. Sewer revenue is budgeted at $19.5 million for sewer service. Reclaimed sales, which we collect from Leavenhand and Carlsbad, are budgeted at $3.9 million, and other revenue is $244,000 for a total revenue for sewer at $23.6 million. And next we'll go over salaries and benefits. And you can see the bottom half are the salaries, the top half are the benefits, and this is a budget to actual comparison for the last 5 years. And really what it shows is we've done a good job in keeping salaries and benefits very steady over the last 5 years. And we've actually had some savings over the last couple of years because we've had a lot of turnover and retirements. And salaries and benefits are budgeted to increase by $1.1 million for fiscal year 2026 as a result of the COLA of 4% per the MOU and normal steps, as well as increases in PERS costs. The next slide shows our full-time employees. And you can see in 2016, we actually had 115.25 authorized positions. And by 2025, that number's gone down to 109.25. In the meantime, our number of connections has actually increased. The district is growing. Our number of connections are growing from 41,901 to 43,652. And that results in basically us having 2.75 employees per 1,000 connections, and that decreasing to 2.51. So you can see as a result of really scrutinizing positions, finding efficiencies, absorbing admin costs, and just improving processes overall, we've been able to do a lot more with less employees. So next, back to the home page, we can see we're going to actually talk about the capital budget. So the capital budget is $39.4 million for fiscal year 2026, or 31% of the total budget. And this is what's being considered for approval tonight. We actually do a 5- and a 10-year plan as well. And the 10-year CIP plan that we have prepared is $214 million. And then looking at that, capital improvement projects by function, we can see that in 2026, the total $39.4 million is made up of $10.2 million in water projects and $29.1 million in sewer projects. And of the 29.1, 4.9 are for ENCINA Wastewater Authority projects. And then looking at the 5-year and 10-year capital plan, the 10-year capital plan, as I mentioned, is $214.1 million. Scrolling ahead. And of that, it's actually made up of water projects of 37.6 and sewer projects of $176.5 million. And the sewer projects broken down is made up of, I want to get ahead again, $151.6 million of VID projects and $24.9 million for ENCINA Wastewater Authority. Next, we're going to look at reserve levels. Here we go. And first, we'll look at water reserves in total. And as you know, the reserve policy states we will maintain 3 years of projected system replacement costs plus 6 months of operating expenses as our floor, and 10 years of projected system replacement costs plus 6 months of operating expenses as our ceiling. And we have to stay within those policy limits. And for 2026, we are budgeted to be at $35 million. And by 2030, we will be at $40 million. Both are above our floor and within policy limits. Oops, there we go. And then moving on to sewer or wastewater reserves. The floor is the same, 3 years of projected system replacement costs plus 6 months of operating expenses. And the ceiling is 8 years of projected system replacement costs plus 6 months of operating expenses. And you can see we're actually at $52 million in fiscal year 2026, and we will be around $56 million by 2030, both above the floor and within policy limits. And it's important to note that in 2027, as a result of all the water and sewer projects, if everything goes as planned, we are considering a potential debt issuance, or will be if that happens in 2027, of about $20 million. About $6 million of that would be related to water projects, and the other 13.1 would be related to sewer. The water would impact rates if we needed it at that time. The sewer projects are all capacity or reclaim, so they would not affect the sewer projects. There's also, and you can see the second spike there in 2029, a second debt issuance that if we actually do the land outfall on Twin Oaks Valley Road sewer improvement on time, we would have to consider, because those are very large projects, we would have to look at potential debt issuance in 2029. And those would, I think they're both capacity and replacement, so they probably impact sewer rates a little bit, but the majority is capacity.
The outfalls capacity and actually the sewer line in Twin Oaks, I think they're both capacity.
Are they both capacity?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, then it would be
There's a
fully,
little bit of replacement, but not much.
okay.
So this illustration is based on two $20 million,
20 and a 30. The
20 and a 30.
2029 would be a $30 million debt issuance if the cost is the same when we get there, and it is, 3 years away, 4 years away. So if the cost is the same, and they tend to rise, smiling again because it's the engineer thing, costs tend to rise, and if they're on time. So if they're on time and the costs are the same, then that would be what we'd have to consider at that point, would be about $30 million.
And staff's gonna scrutinize us with the schedules, and our anticipation is you may see this slide based on the reality of the schedules, because those are complicated projects that have environmental restrictions, so there's a good chance that there may be a delay, but those delays may also increase costs. So the reality of those projects moving forward will end up changing this graph, but this is the best information at the time.
And this is just our financial plan for the future. It's not something being considered for approval tonight. It's just looking at our total financial plan. It's important that we have that plan. So moving on to our days in cash. This is another very important, so reserve levels are important for rating agencies, and days in cash is another important criteria for rating agencies. And you can see here the Fitch median for retail AAA rated agencies is 686 days in cash. And while ours is only going to be, or projected to be 389 days in cash, we have had several surveillances with them over the years. They come out and look at our finances almost every year. And we have confidence in the fact that if we keep it between 300 to 350 days in cash with our other rating criteria, that we can maintain our AAA rating. And then another important thing to point out, or interesting observation, is that our days in cash went up to 713 days at one point, 711. That was because we actually issued debt and had a nice cash infusion from historical or previous projects that brought that cash in, and then we spent it as planned. And then talking about our credit rating, in 2013, we were upgraded to a AA+ credit rating, and we were able to maintain that for 10 years until 2024, when we were upgraded to a AAA rating. And we actually just went through another surveillance process recently, and we've been reaffirmed at AAA with a stable outlook. So good news for the district. And that's the end of the presentation. And with that, staff recommends adoption of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Good job. Man, that was fast. Well, that's a good job. Any questions? I just had one quick one. On water sales of reclamation water, are we maximizing? I mean, do we have more reclaimed water that we can sell and we're just not? Or where are we at on that, revenue-wise?
Well, James could probably answer the question better than me. I know we have capacity to plant at 5 million gallons per day. I think we're selling, we are hitting peak times, because that's actually the peak capacity of the plant. We're working on expanding it in the future, but I think we are overall producing and selling a good portion of it.
Yeah, right now our plant's available to do up to 5 MGD, but realistically, we're not gonna be able to make 5 MGD. We don't have the sewer source, and we have some plumbing issues in the conveyance systems to get the sewer there, and those are big, expensive projects. We're talking a brand-new force main down Rancho Santa Fe Road is the main bottleneck. So we maximize everything we can, and we maximize everything what we call from our local service area, which is the whole San Leandro Hills area and La Costa area that flows naturally to Meadowlark. The plant will have the ability to do more in the future as far as after the expansion to up to 6.5 MGD. And then we'll be looking based on needs and setting up the district if there's more demand. And, because at the end of the day, somebody has to take the recycled water to expand that system. So it's got to make financial sense for the district before we move forward. But we are set up to move forward if that demand is there and the finances work out.
The demand hasn't come forward yet, though?
Right now, I'm sure the city of Carlsbad probably has more demand, but their system could only take so much also. And, we're also looking at and keeping our eye on other water technologies like water reuse and seeing what those costs are. Right now in the region, there's plenty of water, and the cost of water reuse far even exceeds the cost of desal. So the appetite for taking really expensive water is probably pretty limited.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to commend staff. It's been these times are very challenging with the huge wholesale increases that we're faced with. And I think staff's done a great job in doing what we can do and what we control. So I want to thank staff.
Thank you. Echo those comments.
And I would move staff's recommendation.
Got a motion?
Can you give me a dollar amount for our reserves, both water and sewer, the total?
Yeah, I could go back to the slides and let's see. So 52, I think we're at about 108 as of right now, but.
108 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good presentation. We have we have a motion to approve the Vallecitos Water District recommended for fiscal year 25-26.
Second.
Seconded by Director Kirschbaum. Please vote. Motion passes, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you,
What are
everybody.
you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Oh, we got other adventures. Cost of service studies coming up.
Yeah, thank you, team. Now we have our 218 process,
Yeah, yeah.
and auditing continues.
Thank you. That is the end of the action items. Thank you so much for presentations and recommendations. Reports, General Manager.
Yeah, so a few items. We're going to be transitioning off our Zoom format. I believe the next meeting, we're going to go to a YouTube live format where customers who wish to view the meeting online could just click the live and see a live stream. And we're going to eliminate Zoom. If we have an outside third-party person, whether it's a board member or a consultant, then we will utilize Zoom for that. So, sorry, are you okay?
Cramp.
Oh, okay. All right.
Standing ovation for
So,
Director.
yes. So we anticipate starting at the very next meeting in July. The second meeting in July, not the very next meeting. So. Another milestone through our engineering and construction management team, the Tres Amigos pipeline, this northern section has been completed and is online now. That's the section of pipe that we were averaging one break a month on. So now that's brand new pipe, and knock on Formica. Hopefully, we will no longer see the series of breaks on that pipe for quite some time.
Nice.
Obviously, we already talked about the CWA rate, but along with the CWA is looking at basically making major modifications to the ag rate that will affect our ag customers. We don't have a high percentage of ag customers, but the ones that do rely on what they call the PSAR rate. And that PSAR rate, I don't know what the final numbers are. It looks like it may go up fairly significantly. I don't think it's going to be completely eliminated, but the discount on it will be severely reduced. So that will increase the cost to our ag customers. Chris and his team is well aware of it. As soon as we have information, we're going to reach out to those customers specifically and start our conversation of what's going on and why it's happening. The first meeting in July is July 2nd, I believe. That meeting is right now anticipated to be canceled. It's right before the July 4th holiday. The budget is approved as of today, and some staff need a well-deserved break also. So at this time, that's it. Obviously, if there's some critical items, we may still hold it. And if there's any real critical items from the board that comes up, please let me know. But at this time, we anticipate having that meeting canceled. Last but not least, I wanted to give you a quick update. The Water Authority is in a potable water shutdown, a 21-day potable water shutdown. And I'm going to ask Eric to come up, our operations manager, and give us an update of how our system's doing. So with that, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Hi. Good evening, directors. So the shutdown started on June 1st. And to prepare for that, we raised all the levels in all of our reservoirs and tanks everywhere, including the Twin Oaks reservoirs. We raised those to around 38 feet, which is almost 100% capacity, and that's about 72.5 million gallons. This shutdown, it shuts all the water off for the reservoirs, and so for the duration of the shutdown, we are operating on what we have capacity in there. So to prepare for that, like I said, we raised all the levels in those reservoirs, and the Twin Oaks reservoirs, they feed Twin Oaks tanks number 1, number 2. I know we have a lot of things named Twin Oaks here. They feed Twin Oaks number 1 and 2, Coogan Pump Station, or Coogan Tank, and Deer Springs Tank, and Wolf Tank. Since the start, in the past 4 days, we've dropped about 2 feet. That equals about 4 million gallons. It's about ½ foot a day. Now we've been lucky. The weather's been kind of cool. It's been helping us with the conservation. We even had rain last night. So as of now, we're sitting about 94% capacity. Our projections out for the duration of the outage, if demand stayed current, weather stayed cool and favorable for us by 6/21 when the outage is over, we should be around 25 feet or 47.5 million gallons. If the weather gets warmer, demand picks up, we estimate that we'll lose about 1 foot a day, but we'll still have ample supply, and it would drop to around 18 feet or around 47%.
Thank you. That paints a pretty picture.
What's the issue? Is it an emergency repair?
Yes, it's emergency repair. I don't think it's Moosa Canyon. I can't recall which emergency repair it is.
I just know it's on pipeline 4. They shut it down. There's the Water Authority and their large pipelines. They have acoustic sensors that go through the pipes, and for the past few months, they've been hearing the bands break on their acoustic sensor, and so it was an emergency shutdown.
It's in the Rainbow Water District service area, I believe. So it's just north of us.
Director Hernandez.
In the case of worst case scenario in the future, can we get, our desal continues to flow?
Correct.
Can we supply our whole district with that water from desal?
We could. It would take a little bit of work on our end to start pushing water up that way, and extremely high pressures in some areas. The Water Authority is also capable of revalving their system to push desal water through a different pipeline back into Val 10, which feeds the Twin Oaks reservoirs. So there are those options. Obviously, during this shutdown, I don't think we will ever.
No, but I mean, if it was an extreme emergency, just sometime in the future.
Yeah,
So we're going to have water.
Absolutely, and the rest of our system is unaffected by it.
Right.
Since the Twin Oaks reservoirs are one of the main supplies for our system,
Yes.
we have been upping the flows from a lot of our other connections with the Water Authority. For example, Val 9, which is the desal connection, typically we take about 6 cubic feet or 6 CFS from them. Right now we're about 15, and that one, while we modulate it throughout the day, it hasn't shut off since the Water Authority has had the shutdown.
And strategically, where our desal connection is, it feeds into what I call our valley, our San Marcos Valley, which is along the 78 corridor on both sides, which is our 920 and 855 zones, and those two zones make up probably 60 to 70% of our population, and over 50% of our demand.
Yeah.
So we're strategically well. As long as that desal is running or we have that other connection, we're set up pretty well.
Thank you.
You just mentioned 38 feet is where we're at in those reservoirs. That's at capacity. What are we usually at?
It just depends on the time of year. Typically, our operators try to keep it around 30, 25, 30, around
So it's
there.
not a huge, okay. I was just wondering if it's more stress and strain on the actual reservoir or on our equipment or anything.
No, there's no stress or strain like that. We try to keep the levels at it right in the middle, just because water quality is better that way. While we have recirculation pumps and chlorine injection both in and out of the reservoirs, it just helps when you can constantly push water through.
Flowing, gotcha. Thank you. Any other comments?
I was just wondering, aren't the Twin Oaks reservoirs called Pedrazi now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Good catch. Thank you.
It's still the Twin Oaks Reservoir, but it's located. The Twin Oaks reservoirs are located at the Ed Pedrazi Water Storage Facility.
Okay, gotcha.
Good catch.
Thank you.
I like that, though.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That concludes my report with a big assist from Eric.
Thank you both. Appreciate it. District Legal Counsel.
I have no report this evening. I did pass on something interesting that came out of the AI world. We got a public submission on the vulnerability of a water system that an individual generated off of AI, simply based on public information that was surprisingly accurate. And you know how confidential we keep that information relative to water facilities, et cetera. And
you know, with the rising alarms relative to security issues outside of the U.S. It was just interesting to me to have seen that, and so I pass that on to staff and all for consideration.
Something for the future. So it's not the future anymore, actually. It's here. Wow. Thank you. And Encina wastewater, I don't think we had anything. Jim? Any report from Encina wastewater?
No, I haven't had a meeting.
Thank you. Standing committees, any meet? No standing committees, directors' reports on meetings, conferences, seminars attended? None. Other business, director's comments, future agenda items, moving right along. With that, we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.